Let's just go onto YouTube and you'll be able to see the full picture on there, okay? So you're only going to see half a picture on here, but you can see the full picture on YouTube if you go over onto our YouTube channel and subscribe. That's just going live now. Thank you. Do try and put some good sessions on for everyone, okay, and try and keep you all going in this lockdown, okay? So hope you have a really, really good session. Let's just wait. That should be coming in. Let's just have a look. Okay. Okay, so the live session is on YouTube now. We got 4 minutes before we start, so let's just have a look. Great. Okay, so it's not come in yet. Let's just come again. All right, let's just do a quick restart on there. Hi, everyone. Hello, Argentina. Who else we got in the house? Throw up the flag. So I know we got Brazil in there. Obviously, UK. Let's just see why this isn't coming in. Let's go through there, cancel that. Okay. We're going to have to restart the live, I think, by the looks of this. Let's have a look. Okay, so at the bottom, we're going to just put on the YouTube channel. So you've got that to have a look at. Let's just see why that's not coming in. Okay, it's fine. Out of here. Okay, guys, we're going to restart the video. It's not allowing TKD Coach Academy to come in. So we're going to do a quick restart. Let's get ready to train. Grab yourselves a drink. Grab your notebook if you've got it. Wear something loose. 2 minutes, we're back in.
Come on, quick.
Okay, we've come out and come back in. We're going to wait for TKD Coach Academy to join. Hi. Okay.
There we go. Are we in?
If you're sounding better, but I can't see you at the moment. So let's
we have a picture now?
Not at the moment. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, it's a start. Okay, let me try to figure that out.
Okay. We're nearly there, guys. If you're joining us on YouTube, you'll be absolutely fine. We're just going to try and get this live stream going.
Can you see from this side?
Still can't see you yet.
Okay, that's strange. It's up here on my one perfectly.
So you can see both of us on your screen?
Yeah. Everything looks like a normal live chat here.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I might do it in reverse then. I might start the live stream on yours and maybe I join on yours instead.
Yeah. Okay, let's try that.
Okay, guys, so 2 minutes. We're just having some technical difficulties. Great for a Saturday, but don't worry. We're going to go over onto TKD Coach Academy's account and start our live there. Okay, let's have a look. Okay.
You're connecting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, everybody, so we're just waiting for Taekwondo Worldwide to come through here. and we'll be getting started very soon. You can also check this out on the Taekwondo Worldwide YouTube channel. So if you want to check the live stream, yeah. So if you want to check that out in the live stream there, check that one out as well. Hopefully we can get through the technical difficulties here pretty quick. Bear with me. Anything on that side now, on the Zoom? Send request. There we go. Only one guest can be in your live video. Strange. Hey everybody, what's up? So we're going live pretty soon. We're hoping to sort out the technical difficulties here on Instagram Live, and we're also over on Taekwondo Worldwide on their YouTube channel on a live stream, so you can also check that out. See you soon. Is Jason on that?
He's typing on some words.
He's not typing to me, you know?
No, he's like on his phone or whatever.
What's going on?
He's on this, he's trying to get Instagram going.
Can you hear me, Jason? We'll mute there. Video chat, tap to join. Any luck?
Is it your internet connection?
No, it should be solid. I'm on Wi-Fi here in the gym that I use for Zoom every week, so it should be solid.
It's interesting because you're on here.
Yeah.
And it should be exactly the same.
And because when I checked into your one, I don't know, is it something to do with my account, because it says I can only have one request on live or something, which is strange because we've done it before.
We have?
Yeah.
Have you got another account?
I can use my club account, East Cork Taekwondo.
Okay, so if you want to go live on there, then I'll join you on that one, and we'll see if it's the account that's doing it.
Yeah, what you do is
my followers will still come on.
Okay. Right, what you can do though, so is if you want to go live and I'll come join you on my club page. Sound good?
Yeah.
Great.
Should we try that?
Let's go for it.
Okay, we'll try it. So we're getting a few technical difficulties today, but we are going to get this sorted out. So we're just changing over accounts there. I hope you guys are ready to try. Okay.
We're in? Finally. Great.
When will there's a way.
We got there. What was that? Third time lucky.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, as we were saying, we just swapped over onto to another account, but we've managed to get our live stream going for everybody now. Okay, so I hope you're all ready to train. Okay, your instructor today is Richie Ford. Okay, he's world champion again in Taekwondo sparring, but has some amazing drills for you to do. So, Mr. Ford, can you just give us an idea of the kind of things we'll be doing today?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks very much for the invite, and for everybody that's joining in and watching, thanks for participating. So yeah, it's a tricky time at the moment, so it's good to use these opportunities to make the most of them and share ideas with different groups and things like that. So yeah, that's fantastic. So as you said, my name is Richie Ford. I'm from Ireland. So all over on my club page here, due to the technical difficulties, I work together with Adrian Byrne, and we run a Taekwondo Coach Academy. So that's on social media, mainly on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So we put some ideas together, sharing some content around ITF Taekwondo training, performance, and we're just looking to expand ideas and hopefully bring out the best in ITF competition, sport, training, performance, coaching, all those areas. So just a bit of background on myself. I'm a 5th degree black belt in ITF, as I know there might be some people from different organizations joining in. This is my 21st year in Taekwondo, so training 21 years this year, although this year there wasn't much we were able to do, but so be it. Yeah, so that's a little background on me. I hope everybody enjoys the session today. Generally, my idea of a seminar is I would like to have it a little bit more engaging and a little bit more hands-on, because personally my belief is anybody can give you a great workout, but when you go and you get opportunities to train with different people, I think it's very important that you learn something and you take away the concepts and the why and etc. So hopefully my plan is to give people a little bit of a workout and to also maybe give you some ideas on my philosophy and the reason behind certain things that we're going to do today. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to base it around like a kicking workout. Obviously, like in terms of sparring and things like that, ideally we want training partners and a bit of interaction like that to make the most of that. And that's not a possibility for us at the moment in Ireland, because we are in, thankfully, the last week of lockdown before Christmas. So we're nearly there. So we make do with what we can. So ideally going to be a kicking workout today, based around general warm-up. We'll get going into some flexibility, different types, expanding the range of motion for ITF Taekwondo in sparring and patterns, and maybe have a little chat about the differences there. Some kicking drills and how you can use that range, expand it, and come up with some creative ideas and things like that to build your strength within those kicking ranges. And then we'll finish it off a little bit, hopefully, with if we have time, we can do a little bit of footwork training and a few ideas around sparring technique as well. So we'll see how we're going with time.
Fantastic. Well, sir, it's over to you. Have a great session.
Fantastic.
And you'll see me again when we get towards the end.
Great. Super stuff. Okay, thank you.
Likewise.
Okay, everybody, so we'll start off with bow in chair. Yeah, can you? Take one. All right, so we'll, as we said, we'll just go through this. Hopefully you can take some things as I'm explaining. Hopefully you can try the exercises as we're going through them. And then I can give you a little bit of feedback here instead of me talking while I do the exercise. As I said, I would like for people to take things away and some actionable advice. So ideally, as I explain them, I'll give a quick introduction. And as I talk through some things to look out for and things to be aware of, then maybe you can go through the exercises as well. All right, so that's the plan. Of course, just take a drink whenever you need it or a break whenever you need it. As I said, I'm not really focused on a big, massive workout here as such, but my interest here is to make sure people take things of value from this session. All right, so we'll get started. We'll just start off to get the body flowing, getting a bit warm. For me, in freezing cold right here in the middle of Ireland in November. So it'll be good to get the body warm. So we'll start off with a general warm up. So let's go with 10 starts just to get going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we lift up the heels, so just bringing the heels up nice and high. And go. Okay, the next exercise we're going to do a lunge. So I'll do that at a little bit of an angle so you get an idea. So you're just going to go lunge, touch the floor with your backhand, and as you step through foot to foot, you make a front kick and then you step back. So it's a foot to foot motion here as you step through with a lunge. Okay, just warm up the hips a little bit. Okay, ready? Let's go. And switch, opposite side. So touch, foot to foot, kick, foot to foot, back. Okay, ready? All right, good. Okay, for the next exercise, we just lift the knees up to the chest. So ideally, we want to go to shoulder level would be great. And if you're confident in this exercise, you can do it bouncing on the opposite leg. Okay, go. So the high knee position is going to be a big feature of today's exercises. So we'll talk about that a little bit more detail. Switch. And switch. This time we add a kick every second one. So one, kick, one, kick. Go. Change. All right, super. Okay, so next what we're looking to do is go to what we call half facing in IPS, full facing, side facing, and half facing. So we go to half facing first, just using the front leg, raise, kick, and drop. Okay, keep the hands tidy enough, and we'll just go for 10 of these. And change, using the front leg. Very good. Same idea, this time we're going the opposite direction. Again, try to keep half facing on this one if you can. A lot of people who are tight on the hips, they will generally twist the body and go a little bit more full facing. So try to resist that a little bit and use the full range. From the front leg, you're going to come up, big circle and back here. So what I say to the young kids on this one is kind of like a rainbow shape. So try to think of that motion as you go. And change. Same idea. All right, sweet. Get a quick drink if you need to do so. Can you just make sure on the Instagram that I'm in chat for this next bit? All right, so we're going to build up a little bit more dynamically now. So we go to what's called our frog position. So we're going to get the inside of the knees on the mat, avoiding the front of the knee. So you don't want to go here, nice and wide. Okay, and we're just going to hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds. And we're going to be alternating from here to open, lift, and back. Keeping a straight line all the way through. Again, 3 to 5 seconds, and we switch the toes up. Again, my weight shifts back slightly. And I come back through the sequence, and bring forward, and pull the knees in. So you see that? So we go through that as a little bit of a sequence, 3 to 5 seconds. Again, you notice your hips are coming forward and you have to adjust your body position. Okay, we good in frame? Sweet. Okay, let's go. So we open, lift, and pull the hips back in line. Pull back again. My toes are up. And back again. try to find a little bit more range as you go through. So you notice we're not holding these too long. Just kind of more in a dynamic fashion, coming through the ranges of the hips. So anything that's under 5 seconds, generally, you can consider that to be more in the dynamic ranges, yeah? Okay, we come up, bring the feet together, and just shake it up. Perfect, so what we want to have a little bit of a talk with next is some positions that replicate kicking positions. So ideally, when you do your stretches, you want to be looking at positions that might correlate in terms of your kicking. So you notice a lot of our kickings will come from this position with the high knee and the standing leg really working on the hamstring. Okay, so we'll try to replicate some of these in a dynamic fashion. Later on in the session, hopefully we can hold these for a bit longer, trying to expand the range. I'll go through some cool ways that you can do that to build strength, couple it together to really be strong in that range, and then that's where the good kicking and high kicking will come from. Okay, so we're going to use the one that I had at stage 1 of the last exercise on the inside of the knee here, and then the opposite leg is extended straight. Okay, play with this a little bit between toes up and a little bit more of an angle here. Yeah, so this will really depend on your range personally, because when you go to kick, it's the exact same stretch as that we got right now. Yeah, but some people, if I put it on the black area, you might see better. Some people here, there's a different angle on their standing foot. So that's why I want you to focus and play a little bit with the straight leg. Okay, let's go with it. So from here, extend, up. And what I want you to do is drop your ear close to your knee on the bent side. Okay, so just going through here. So working on a little bit of the obliques and the core as well, which is quite important for your structure and your posture when you kick. So we can't have good kicks without having a solid trunk in our core and especially in our lower back. So we need to be flexible and strong there as well, not just in the legs. And we'll switch. Get yourself set up, and same idea. Just pushing through that range. You feel that stretch, and we're just coming in and out of that range very gradually, very slowly. Okay, next one, again, very similar to this position. So a lot of our kicks, especially in a sideline fashion, so like our hook, turn, side, and even to an extent some of the axe kicks and things like that will come from this position. So we need to be strong in this plane. Okay, so another similar stretch is what we call the Cossack. So we're here. Use this arm to push the knee a little bit. You want the posture to be quite good, and you can just switch from side to side. Try to stay low if it's okay for you to do that. Get rid of the hands. Builds in a little bit more strength even. Yeah, so all the time when you're looking to build on your flexibility, the more you can rely on weight, whether that's body weight or not, the better. So even if you have your hands here, just put a bit more weight on your hands. And ideally, we want to be able to do the stretches as best we can without that. So the more weight we can add on to the range, the better. So obviously if we're holding our hands on the mat, that just takes a little bit more weight off the legs and places it through the arms. So we want to just get rid of that a little bit to incorporate a little bit more strength. Okay? The next exercise I want to look at, for the purpose of you guys watching, I will do it with a partner here holding, but you can use the wall just as easy. Okay? I've already said. So, here we go. So this time you're going to just hold your side kick position. Okay, starting with a tall posture. This standing foot, it's important that we turn it. Okay, you want it to be a decent level, and we really want to focus on the standing leg here. So a lot of people, they neglect the standing leg when they're trying to improve their kicking. Okay, and it's very, very important, and it can hold you back massively if you are not able to be flexible and strong in the standing leg. So from here, we want a tall posture, lean into it. So thinking the same idea that we had on the previous exercise, and you drop down here to your standing hamstring, and you can just rotate slightly. You should really feel it in the standing leg, and pop back up here. Thank you. So you can do that at the wall if you need to, just based on the angles that we have. You probably won't be able to see too well, but the same idea applies. Start tall, and you're dropping down, and just coming up again. Okay, so just go through that a couple of times in each leg, and as you're going through it, I'll just explain a couple of ideas based on that. So try to make sure that your standing leg is turned. So you want to be in the same position as when you kick. So ideally, you don't want to change that up too much. You want to have the same position on your standing foot. You can also play with the angle of it. So you don't want to go directly down, you want to go more behind you. So as I'm kicking here, I want to go more behind. And you feel that stretch much better. Yeah? So as I said, very, very important that we don't forget about the standing leg. Okay, very, very important. Okay, and relax. Okay, next I want you to go on your chest. We'll extend the hands out here. Hopefully we can see me. Are we okay? I can come back. Okay. So what you're going to do here is opposite leg to opposite hand. And you should feel this here in the quad muscle. And then we're coming back down. So just rotating through. You'll also feel a little bit in the lower back. And you can hold it for a little bit. If you feel a bit more advanced, you can just come up higher and around. Really touching the hand and down. You feel it all through the back. So work through that. After that, we have a little bit of a progression for anybody who's really comfortable on that. You can flip around into the hamstring as well. So I'll show you that one next. So you come around, and as you come around, you sit up. And now we're in this leg is bent, this leg is straight, and I'm stretching towards my hamstring here on a straight leg. So essentially, it's this position with this leg bent. So kind of like a 90-90 on the rear leg, working on our rotation, hip rotation, and the other leg is on the hamstring. Yeah. So usually we have it this position. We want to work here. Yeah, and that's very important that we work this range, because the range of your leg in this position is the same as what we're doing on the kicking. So it's very, very important that we're comfortable in this range, and it's not a sticking point in our flexibility. All right, very cool. Okay, so just grab a quick drink after that, and we'll move on to the next part. Yeah, looks good. Okay. So next, I touched on it a little bit earlier, posture and the chamber position. So as I said, a lot more people come from this position here. So it's very important that you have a good knee position. So if you're kicking from here or here, it's going to really, really limit your ability to kick in a decent way. Okay? And that really ties in as well with your posture. So for us in ITF sparring in particular, when you have that high position and you couple it with good posture, you can carry forward and attack. If you're leaning back so much, it's very difficult to attack because your center of gravity needs to play catch up. Yeah, and it really hampers your ability to go at people with aggression and with good speed. Okay, so we're just going to work on a couple of exercises and a couple of principles that I want to touch on to help with this. Okay, so first one we'll do, as I said, some of these ideas that I'm using, just a little bit of creativity that I've come up with throughout the years to help with just engagement with children, and particularly in the younger classes, and just ways to almost vary what we do. So like, it's like getting in the kicking reps that we want to get in to improve the ability to kick, but just changing up one or two things. So as I said, there's no fancy one-fits-all drill or exercise for any of this. It's about the principles. So already we covered dynamic ranges and why we're working in certain ranges. And then we're going to just couple this in with a bit more gradual work in terms of strength. And that's what we're going to do now. So don't just think that one fancy exercise is going to solve all your problems. try to understand the why behind everything. And then you can come up with different ways of being creative to give your students the best ways to engage. So what I like to do is use a beanbag, and that just helps with the knee position. So obviously, if you have a low knee position, the beanbag will fall. So you can use a sock, you can use anything you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be a beanbag, just something that's quite light, but once the angle goes, it will drop. Okay, so what I like to do is, for beginners, you can use the wall. Just make sure that they're not leaning too much. So to make sure that doesn't happen, your standing leg can't be too far. So if I use the freestanding bag here, obviously you don't want to be at this angle because your body needs to lean. So instead, I want to get quite tall here. Okay, but without the wall, you can also do it just here. Pick up the knee. On the ITF badge here, for anybody who practices ITF Taekwondo, you can use that as a good area to focus on. And I'm also working on my posture, pulling my body forward towards that knee as I'm driving it up. Yeah, so you see that's a very, very important base for all your kicking. Yeah, so if you have that low knee or you struggle in the adductors range to make any difference there, it's going to be, it's going to be quite difficult to kick at any good level. So it's almost like a prerequisite to be able to kick at any decent level. So yeah, so I'll just work through some of the exercises we like to do with that. So you can hold it, so you can incorporate holds. Ideally, you want to be trying to push the range on a little bit. Okay, so what you can do with the wall, for example, is you can go here, I'll just put it at a bit of an angle so you guys can see. And ideally, I want to be matching my head to my knee. And I can hold that position, and I can just try to fight it a bit more without needing to come back down. So I can start here, then fight it a little bit more. If it falls, just reset. And then you can see that your range is expanding. So that's a very important concept for us in terms of kicking, because we're trying to bridge the gap between our passive and our active ranges. Yeah. So basically, when it comes to flexibility and your ability to kick really well, your passive flexibility sets the bar. Okay. So passive means just holding the position. So without any like contraction, without any like real need to really hold it, basically. So as you see, as I'm holding this position, I can just hold it, and eventually you get comfortable there. Eventually it becomes a little bit more passive. And the active range comes in when I try to extend that range. And then by holding it, bridging the gap, that's where the real gains will come in terms of flexibility development. And then once we can tie that in with the strength in those ranges, so basically being able to hold it in the active range, then we're talking about really kicking gains and ability to kick at a really good level. So it's a very important concept, and the knee position and posture work really well there together. Yeah, okay, good. Again, you can use what we call fire hydrants. So sure, a lot of you know these exercises already, but instead you can even use the beanbag like this. Yeah, and down. And just for a couple of pointers on this, and we'll do a couple of them just to keep people active. You want, and what I like to say is you keep your belly button facing the mat, and that stops your hips from turning and taking over the exercise. Also, you don't want your foot to be the highest point. So a lot of times people will do this and they go up. It's your knee. Think about that same principle that we've been talking about since the beginning. Your knee should be the highest point, and then you're fighting to get that higher and higher and higher, and couple it in with good posture. You don't want to sacrifice too much posture falling away to get that. So you want to bring them closer together. Yeah, so let's go with a couple of these exercises then. Very simply, you just want all fours underneath the hips, underneath the shoulders. Get on your toes here rather than being flat on the feet. I don't want to be flat, I want to engage here. And then from there, you can just pick up to the side. Make sure, I'll see when I get the angle correctly. You don't, for people that are 4 feet above an ITF, it's easy. You've got the stripes here to help you, to guide you. And you want to keep that line. So you can see the line down through my shoulder, hip, knee. You want to keep that line as best you can. And you see a lot of time people will do this and they'll go behind them. Okay? Not exactly what we're working on. We're exercise, but not specific to what we want to do. Okay? So we pick up that knee. Again, you notice I'm not looking towards the kick. I'm keeping my body straight down. And that's very, very important. And we just hold. All right, we can do that on both sides. So you can flick onto the other side, and while you're doing that, I can give you a few alternatives as well. And so you can also do this with raises, like we talked about already. Looking to just push that range through higher with each one. So real mind muscle connection, trying to expand that range a bit higher from the previous rep. Okay, you can expand that on a bit further again by going out with one leg here. So you might need to adjust from the knee here from the inside to the front. So that will need adjustment. So you can start pretty close, raise, down, and then you can extend. So remember we're talking about that passive range into our active range. This is what we're talking about here. So now we're passively holding, yeah, and then as you lift, your muscles have to engage, which makes it an active exercise. And then you go down and extend the range. So now I'm a bit deeper. So you can see the range I'm gaining by this. And then the more you can be strong in these big ranges, the better gains you're going to get for your kicking ability, yeah? So ideally we want to lift from here as well. And extend. Okay, so that's the trick. The trick is look to get that range where you want to be and become strong in that range. So a good way for us to do that is isometric holding. So just like we did there. You hold and you contract with your antagonistic muscles, basically the opposite ones, to hold it in position. Okay, and then as you go down, you can just release and extend the range. Yeah, so very, very beneficial for anybody who wants to improve their kicking. All right, cool. Of course, we can have this with a hold as well in terms of a straight leg. Hold. Again, you notice my body as best I can is staying parallel. I'm not twisting. Because watch the advantage I can get through this. Look, way easier. Yes, you want to get rid of that, of anything coming through your back so much, yeah, and through your hips. You want to take away any like cheating going on there, and we want to be really, really strict in the form. Oh, and then really focus on what we're looking to build. Make sense? Okay, cool. So what we want to do next then is just have a look at, so I touched on already the importance of lower back strength and your core strength. So that's why I like to include good posture and alignment as best we can with any of these exercises that we do. Of course, you can do like your side planks with holds and do these leg extensions like we just did in the hydrant. It's all the same things, yeah? So as I said, no fancy exercise or drill. It's about the principles behind what we're doing. And then you can adjust. And that's the beauty of it. Your students feel like they're doing different work every class, but they're still working on the foundations that make solid kicking ability. And that's what we're looking to get. Okay? Okay. So I'll just give you a few ideas on the plank raises, just checking how we're doing for time. Oh yeah, great. So what we can do here, for example, to engage the core a little bit, in like both the front of the core, the obliques, which are important for our leaning, yeah, and also a little bit of the lower back. So I didn't want to get a straight line here, so I use my bottom knee. You probably won't see it on the angle, but using the mat there to make sure I'm in a straight line. Pop the hips forward, that's important to engage. So I pop, raise. Okay, and then from here you can start this way, you can extend, again, you can then advance it onto here. And always looking for some progression to incorporate the core a little bit with all these ranges and exercises that we're looking to do. Okay, great, so let's move on to a little bit of more specific strength now. Okay, so for this next exercise, what I usually do is you can do this freestanding, you can do it at the wall, depending on your level. So all of these things can be progressed and regressed, based on your ability or whether you're coaching for children, etc. Okay, so you can use things like we have like a pool noodle here. So you can use this, you can just simply use your hand, you can use your belt, whatever you like. Okay, so what we like to do, can we use that? Perfect. You just stand at an angle in the front. So what you can do here with this, in case it's this way, you can start off like hip level, and you notice how I'm take a step back just for the angle of the camera. So you notice what I'm talking about here. I'm increasing my range while being strong in that range. So for example, I'm looking to go side kick. I retract, knee in, yeah, not heel in. So knee in, the level goes up. Now I have to get the new level. Level goes up, new level. And then you can increase that again. You can even make it more difficult. So for example, we're holding here. I make my kick. The wobble goes above. Then I retract and go again. Retract, go again. If you get the idea? So it's always just increasing the progressive overload. So that's an important principle that you see in gym workouts, so body lifting, power lifting, progressively overloading the muscles so they adapt, get stronger and improve. And it's the same idea here. If I can do that exercise relatively easy and comfortably, then it doesn't make any sense for me to do it that way the whole time. So I'm always looking to challenge myself a little bit more to get those ranges closer and closer together, which translates into good kicking gains. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, so what we're going to do next is look at some other ways you can engage some kicking. So we can also use a hoop. The best part about the hoop is the bottom part here restricts anybody from coming up. So it really emphasizes the point we made earlier of the high knee position. It essentially forces this. So there's a very, very good approach that is used in sports science. It's called the constraints-led approach. Okay, and this is like a principle of this type of training. So it can become very, very engaging for your students. So like they see a hoop, and oh, fantastic, all of a sudden the session is way more engaging, way more fun. Okay, but you're still working and doing good work. Makes sense? Another way, an important aspect on that is it constrains to do what you want to do. So for example, the constraint of the beanbag is that if I drop my knee, which is something that we don't want to do, there's a negative consequence. Same here, if I'm looking to kick, if I kick too low, I miss the hoop. Yeah, so I want to kick through the hoop, it forces a good knee position. Make sense? So we're looking to do that as best we can, as I said, for the reasons earlier. So let me give you a few examples here. If you don't have a hoop, no problem. You can simply use a belt, for example, tie two ends of a belt together. It's just something to make it a bit more engaging. And of course, if you don't have a belt, you can just do regular kicking. Yeah. But one of the best parts about this, when you do side kicks, is it really focuses on your posture as well. Because if I'm looking to get side kicks through here, and my posture is really, really poor, the angle is so drastic, it becomes very difficult. Now your posture will need to adjust for you to fit into that range, into the hoop. But I'll give you an example. So if you don't have anything that you can use with that, it's just an idea for an exercise where you can just use the wall, or just literally, if you don't have the space, you can just work on your kicking. Imagine that there's something there, you extend the range and you're looking to get through it again. Yeah, so it's all about extending that range as we go. So you can lift, kick, remove the foot. You're going to bring up the height, kick, remove the foot. And you notice that a lot of people will look to go like what we call an ITF Taekwondo Yap Dolio Chagi. So you turn and kick kind of off the cheek and make this easier. So make sure you're using this motion. Yeah, which is very, very important to incorporate your strength as well. Okay? Cool. We can also do that, couple both of them together. So sometimes you can use, for example, one person can hold a hoop. And again, all this stuff, generally, when we have regular sessions, we can use a lot of partner work here when coronavirus isn't holding us back so much. And then it becomes even more engaged again because you have a partner and things like that. So that's what it's all about at the end of the day, keeping people training, keeping people busy. So if somebody just extends the hoop here, like a good range would be like top of the shoulder to the belt. You come back this way just in case we're out of shot. And again, you can use this. So it's the same principle. We're looking for a high knee position. Now this can be difficult, but it requires a lot of control, a lot of focus to get this right. Okay, so you can just practice that as you are next. As you are there, you can just like really imagine that you have those together. And a really good principle when it comes to kicking is if you can kick slow, you can kick well. So if you're able to really control those kicks in slow motion, it means you can kick well, you can kick fast. So generally that's the concept that we're taking on board there, that if you can do it slowly, you can do it well and generally quickly as well. Yeah, so slow means fast in terms of this as well. So anybody who's really, really explosive, they can do the movement really slowly because they're able to control it. And the control is what we're looking at there. Yeah, so that's one of the best parts about that exercise, because you don't want it to drop. You're really focused on that slow execution and getting the knee back without it falling down. Yeah, so that's another little way to incorporate range and strength together as well. Another little concept that we're working on with slow and fast, so that contrast, the contrast training is with or without the wall. Again, it doesn't matter. You can go slow, slow, fast, fast, and you can do reps of this. So you can go like middle section, 5 slowly. Same principle. If you can do it slow, you're definitely strong in that range. When you adjust it up without dropping the leg, 5 at high section. And you can go quick. And you restart again. So this type of contrast training is also very, very effective in terms of extending your kicking. So yeah, if you want to give that one a go, you can just go through that there. So we go 5 slow, middle section, extend that range again, all about that knee. And you do 5, 5, and you can go repeat that in fast. Okay, I'll just give you a couple of seconds there to go and try that one out. And we move on to the next section. Give me a second. So just switching in the battery. So you can work away on that exercise as we do that. Perfect. And we're back in action. Good. Okay. So next one I want to work on a little bit is just translate a little bit, flip it on its head, do a little bit of sparring footwork. I want to just touch on this very broadly, because my belief when it comes to sparring training and to do it really well, you need to have interaction with another human, because they're making adjustments, they're moving different ways. It's fantastic using it against the bag, but we all know a bag doesn't hit back. And that's not very necessary, especially at a very high level. It's okay for beginners looking to just get the movement patterns of certain things. But there is no perfect technique. Any technique in sparring that lands works. So there's no such thing as a perfect technique, but certainly we can make techniques efficient. So there's certain things we can do to make things efficient. So we're not kind of making any silly mistakes that people at the higher level can almost use against you, yeah? Okay, so we're going to just look at a couple of things there. Ideally, I would like to then up the level from going from isolation training. It's something that we're really big on with TPD Coach Academy, that just keeping things from isolation, but going up through, there's definitely a gulf there between live work and isolation drilling. Okay, and my personal belief is that martial art training, because of like promos from MMA, UFC, you got UFC Embedded, you got the 24/7 series in boxing, all these things. And because of all these things, the training has become a little bit more isolation based and very pad work orientated. And we're just losing that ability to bridge the gap between the live work and the isolation work. And we know from skill acquisition, research and science that we need to be able to bridge that gap. So ideally, when we can do things with live partners, and I can show you with students and things like that, ideally I would like to show people how to progress that up into making it go from your training into the live environment. Okay, but at the moment, just for the purpose of this session, it would just be that very baseline foundation stuff. But then you got to think about how that needs to go up the tiers into your real live work, your live sparring. So just because I'm drilling a certain technique and and I'm drilling the certain kick all the time, it's not going to just automatically appear in my sparring. Yeah, because the distance is adjusted, the timing is different. For somebody trying to punch you in the face, you've got so many variables, so many. Yeah, so I always say there's never two fights the same in 10 seconds, even with the same two people. So never mind say everything that you do in the sparring ring. It's just so variable that you can't predict. You just need to have really solid principles and train your ability to make good decisions and adapt. So yeah, enough rambling anyway, so let's move on a little bit. So I just want to work a little bit on footwork. Just footwork for setting a rhythm. So just the idea of setting a rhythm and breaking a rhythm. And I'll show you how you can use this then in a very common technique in ITF Taekwondo. So hopefully people from other groups and associations can take this on board. So you can just use the hoop again as just like a visual aid. So what we like to do here is just test and pull. So test, pull, test, pull, test, pull. And that test is just seeing what the reactions are from the opponent. So let's begin with this. Okay, very simple. I like to keep the body between half and side facing. So just between there, ideally to have full range kicks. And I'll explain what we're going to do later on based on our body position. So keeping off the heels, trying to move your body as a unit, not leaving the legs go first or the hips go first, moving forward and back. So just play on the outside, back, forward. And in and out. So just let's do this together as a group. So whatever area that you have, and I'll explain the next part as you're practicing that. Okay, so as you're going in, I want you to now focus on coming through the hoop. So not all the time, but every now and again, I want you to come through. Here is the thing we need to focus on. As you go through the opposite side, one, I want you to change the angle of this front foot. Right now, my foot is facing this direction. If I go to punch in this way, I'm very restricted. Very restricted, especially on the backhand. So ideally, what you need to do is open up this foot. See what this does? I'm not moving any other part of my body. And just by moving this front foot, it changes up the angle of the whole upper body. And then you can punch a bit more efficiently. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on now. Test, pull. Whenever you're ready, test, pull. And whenever you want to go through, test and go. So you don't pull. Test, turn, and go. And even if you just want to get the footwork of that first. Okay? And just push through. Just getting that little bit of an adjustment with the feet. Very important. And I'll show you what I mean exactly. So just play with that a second. Just push, pull, and just see if you get the idea of twisting the front foot as you transition through the distance. I just want to make sure that we have enough time at the end because I just want to go through some of the stretching to tie all of the kicking stuff together, but I don't want to do that before we're getting dynamic and moving with the sparring things. So the whole idea of this principle, everybody, is to set and break a rhythm. So what is a rhythm? It's just a simple repeated pattern. So repeat, 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 repeat. If subconsciously your opponent buys into this, and if you're unaware of it, so can you. Okay, but then the people who are at the really top level are able to set rhythms and patterns and break them. So ideally we look to go set, 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 go. And that little small adjustment catches people by surprise. Okay, but you notice the angle of the foot is quite important there. So I'll show you what I mean. So, one, and then you go through. And you'll see the angle of the foot changing. And then once you get comfortable with this setting and breaking rhythms, it will become very valuable to you in any form of combat. So that's why I notice people from various groups here, various styles, various forms of combat. So that's why I wanted to just go across a very general principle. It doesn't have to be related to this technique. It's just the whole concept of setting and breaking rhythms and patterns. Okay? And it does take a little bit of work and a little bit of practice. Yeah, so you can just practice this in your own time in an open space. Just set, pull, and just set, and break. Yeah, it's just that setting and breaking a pattern a little bit. And just be very conscious that if you are using the blitz, because we're side-facing dominant in ITF Taekwondo to use the best of our kicking ability, we do need to transition that front foot when we want to punch efficiently. Okay, we need to be able to adjust very, very well. Okay, so that's something that's very, very important there. All right, cool. I hope that's something of value for people watching, and you took something away from that. By the way, everybody, if there's something that you want to just get to know a little bit more, or some questions that you have, make sure and hit us up on TKD Coach Academy. So any form of our social media there, just drop us a question and I'll try to help you as best I can on anything we covered today or anything in general. Okay, cool. So just before we finish up, just very conscious of the time, I want to just touch on one more footwork principle, and we'll move on to our stretching and that expanding range that I'm talking about. Okay, so on the back kick, a lot of people like to get a good back kick. I just want to go through a couple of principles on this. So this is our back kick. Okay, to do this at a good level, you need to have the switch. So I'm hoping that we can see the hoop there as a marker. So what you can do to help this is you can start with your back foot in the hoop, and you can practice on using this back foot that's in the hoop to do the kick and switching my body. So I'm switching over my back leg. See that? My front foot switches back. Okay? So just a little switch step that's very, very valuable to add into your arsenal on the defensive side. Okay? So really, this is a very efficient technique. We don't see it a lot, but anybody who can really get a good back kick, we see this in MMA, we see it in other combat sports, kickboxing. If you can get it off, it can be devastating. Yeah, really, really devastating to your opponent as well if they're really aggressive and really on the front foot. So it's something to really have in the back pocket and very efficient if you can get it right. So just a little tip for you guys to work on the footwork of that, using your back foot and just switching the feet. I'll try to do it slowly here. Okay, and just a little small things to be aware of on the back kick. Ideally, you want to have your knees close to make a straight line between you and the opponent or you and the target. So a lot of people, they make a misconception of circling. Yeah, it's used at a different time. It's not the same. It's used at a different, when we talk about like decision making earlier, you need to make the decisions at the right time. So for here, you want to put that in a straight line between you and the target, ideally, as you transition backwards. So they're coming forwards. If you stay where you are, or if you just circle around, you're going to get crushed. Yeah, so as they come forward, you have to adjust that distance with them, and then you can put a stop on it. Makes sense? So you got to adjust that distance, and that's what the step is for. Yeah, you use here. Up. Okay, so put your knees close together, straight line up. A very, very useful technique also is to get your heel close to your backside. So the closer I have my heel to the backside, the more I can get away with it in terms of distance. So if I mess up the timing or the distance a little bit, and the person gets a bit closer than I expected or than I prefer, okay, the higher your heel is, the closer you can still get off the technique. So look how close I am right now. If my heel is low, it's too low. I'm going to hit them in the leg, which is a foul on my part. So ideally, you want that heel really tucked up here and shooting up here. Want a nice, good stop on the person attacking. So that's a good principle to have to keep the heel high. So the higher you keep the heel to the backside, the closer you can get away with it when it's close distance or if you mess up. Yeah, so you don't want it to be too loose. See that? Then the distance has to be perfect. Versus here, you can just get away with it a bit closer. All right, so just two very simple principles and ideas and concepts that you can work for combat and ITF sparring in particular. And so I hope they're of value. As I said, that's just the foundation level for us. So we just learn this movement pattern and motor pattern, and we build it up into semi-live situations where you have, we're just adding resistance. Yeah, so that's quite important in terms of your skill acquisition and learning true skill. So if you just hit that on the techniques on the freestanding bag, time after time after time, rep, fantastic. But you only now know how to do that at a good level in that very specific situation. Yeah, and as we said earlier, combat and human movement is so unpredictable, you just can't do that. Yeah, so it's impossible for us to rep enough times to get the muscle memory for every single possible situation. It's just mathematically impossible. Okay, so instead we have to build on the foundations. Once we know how to do movement efficiently, we then need to know how to use the skills to set it off, when to use it, how to use it best, what are the moments to avoid, etc. So it all comes down to more of the selection process, which is all based on information we can process from our opponent. Yeah, so it depends on like subtle cues of their body position. And after a time, we start to take this in subconsciously and we can do it without thinking. And that's where people get the lines a little bit blurred in terms of muscle memory. They think it's just, and now I can do this all the time when I need to. Yeah, but only in that specific situation. Whereas real muscle memory is noticing the perception of the environment, so things that you see and take in, and being able to act on those in a correct manner. Yeah, so that's a chapter for today, something I'm really passionate about, so I'll try to just skim over and not get too in depth. So yeah, just before we finish up, I'm just conscious of, yeah, cool, we've got 4 minutes left. So we'll just finish up with some stretching techniques. 2 of my go-tos when it comes to flexibility, you can go again, is just, again, that whole idea of extending the range. So some people, you can use this with a band. I know a lot of people train with bands. You can use your belt, whatever. Basically, the principle is the same. You're looking to get that range, passively hold it, then release the tension, hold it with your muscles, and then extend the range again. Now I'm using the band to hold this position. Then I release the tension. I'm using my muscles. I use the band, and that's a very, very important concept that you need to use to really improve your kicking and your flexibility. This goes for general flexibility as well, not really related to kicking. Yeah, if you can add the tension and hold it passively and then add tension in that range, that's how you're really going to bridge the gap like I spoke about earlier. So let's do a side split together to finish off and just get a little bit of a cool down. So what I want to do here is the exact same idea. Okay, we want to contract the muscles on the inside. So in here in our adductors, we're going to contract as if we're squeezing the ground underneath us. Okay, so we're going to do that together for 6 seconds. Ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax. And now you should be able to just sneak out a little bit further. So just pick one leg. And now you should be able to extend that range. You feel a little bit more tension and just relax and breathe. So now we're passively in this range. And I'm just breathing, spending a bit of time in here. And eventually what will happen is our nervous system will give up fighting and we'll become a little bit almost fatigued, and we can take advantage of that through contraction. So now we're going to contract in this new range. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax. And now you can go a little bit deeper. And just drop it in ever so deeper into the stretch. And I'm in a new range again. And I'm just the same thing. You just repeat this process. And contract. And relax. And now I'm a bit deeper in the range again. Okay. You can use the elbows if it's very difficult. And at the very high levels, you want to be looking to take away your hands. Okay. And the purpose of that is what we said earlier, is to add that strength. So just like adding a little bit of weight on your back. Yeah, this is moving the hands. But that just comes with time and needs a bit of practice. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that covers a lot of general guidelines and principles that I wanted to do today. And the hours flew. I hope people that have stuck around enjoyed it. As I said, thanks very much to Taekwondo Worldwide for the opportunity. And make sure and check out their page. They have really cool stuff. on Instagram and YouTube. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. We have a series every Friday, Fight Chat Friday, where we analyze certain aspects of ITF competition in terms of sparring. So it might be analyzing a particular contest, a skill, a technique. And so that's on our YouTube channel every single Friday, TKD Coach Academy. Okay, and we're also very, very active on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook in particular. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the session. Hope everybody is keeping well. Fingers crossed we can get back to a little bit more normality very soon, and we can get a bit more interactive and share ideas in another way. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody that joined in, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Hey, no problem. So thanks again. So we've been with TKD Coach Academy. Hope that you guys have picked up a few tips there. Thanks again, sir, for you taking this session for us and just going through a few things that we always see on your page. You can head over to TKD Coach Academy, and if you like what you've seen today, go and follow the page. That will give you some more ideas of things that you can work on. If you've got any questions that you want to ask directly, then I'm sure if you DM Mr. Byrne, I'm sure that he'll be happy to answer any questions or queries that you might have. So tomorrow, it's going to be 8 p.m. I think UK time. We're going to have Luciano, who's going to go and do a session with you. Make sure to keep tuning into the series. We're going to keep these training sessions going every Saturday and Sunday, right up until Christmas, and then hopefully continue through into the new year.
Fantastic.
Thanks again, sir. I'm going to take you back over to Zoom, where we can finish up. And everybody else, have a good remainder of the day. Grab yourselves a drink, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Good luck.
Drink.
Can you hear me?